Next in the story is King Jeroboam. So Jeroboam was the son of Nebat, an Ephraimite, and his mother was Zeruah. Stop muna tayo. Ano yung mga information dito? Jeroboam was the son of Nebat. Hindi natin kilala si Nebat, but si Nebat was from Ephraim. No? At ang Ephraim is the anak ni Joseph. Okay? So si Ephraim, when dahil si Ephraim ay anak ni Joseph, who was formerly the ruler of Egypt next to Pharaoh, masasabi natin that Ephraim, the nation of Ephraim was part of it is royalty, okay? Hindi siya Davidic, pero royalty siya because of his ancestry with Joseph, okay? With Joseph. Unlike David and Solomon, Jeroboam did not come from a royal family. Nevertheless, he rose to prominence through his abilities and leadership skills. Solomon recognized his talents and appointed him over the labor force of the tribes of Joseph. Okay? During Solomon's later years, dissatisfaction grew among the northern tribes. Medyo napag-aralan na natin to kay Rehoboam, no? Pero maganda ulitin natin dito para makita natin yung cause ng rebellion ni Jeroboam. Heavy taxation, forced labor, and centralized government policies created resentment. At the same time, Solomon's tolerance of foreign religious practices displeased God. As a result, God determined that the kingdom would be divided after Solomon's death. At hindi nga nahati yon sa time ni Solomon. The prophet Ahijah dramatically communicated this divine decision by tearing a new cloak. So ano to, no, yung ang tawag dito ay prophetic speech na kung saan meron siyang prophetic word deed, no? Prophetic word deed na kung saan merong ginawa si Ahijah na pinunit niya yung damit niya bilang illustration, no? Yung pag-illustrate ng mangyayari sa kaharian ni Solomon. That the 10 tribes would be taken from Solomon's dynasty and given to Jeroboam. Kay Jeroboam ibibigay. This prophetic act established Jeroboam as God's chosen instrument for leading the northern tribes. So, bago tayo, pwede na naman yung rise to power kasi related na naman din ito. So, after Solomon's death, Rehoboam became king in Jerusalem. When the northern tribes requested the relief from Solomon's burdensome policies, yung nakita natin kanina na nakikiusap si Jeroboam kasama yung mga matatandang advisor, ay tinanggihan ito ni Rehoboam, pinilit niya yung kanyang gusto na mas pahihirapan niya pa ang mga Israelites. This decision led to an open rebellion. No? Remember, bakit nagkaroon ng rebellion? Before Saul, the nation of Israel were led by different tribes, okay? Kanya-kanya silang tribes. Bawat tribe ay led by isang tribal leader or a judge. But now, dahil sila ay kingdom na, Saul, David, Solomon, and Rehoboam, hindi na nila maibabalik yung dating arrangement. At ang ginawa na lang yung 10 tribes ay kinampihan nila si Jeroboam sa paghihiwalay sa rebellion na ito. The northern tribes proclaimed Jeroboam as their king, creating a separate kingdom known as Israel, while Rehoboam continued to rule Judah in the south. The division fulfilled God's judgment upon Solomon's unfaithfulness and became a defining event in Israelites' history. So he initially established his capital at Shechem. Yan. At later strengthened other strategic locations such as Penuel at saka Tirsa. His rise to power demonstrates how God can elevate individuals of humble origins for significant leadership responsibilities. Ito ay hindi rin bago. Kasi sa Book of the Judges, si Jephthah, no? Si Jephthah ay ayaw nga sa kanya ng ng taong bayan no? Pero dahil sa nawalan sila ng choice at nakita nila merong skills, merong strategic skills itong si Jephthah, no? Siya rin yung tinalaga nila na leader. So sa Northern Kingdom, meron ding mga ganitong mga similarities, no? It also shows that political success alone does not guarantee spiritual faithfulness. Medyo dito pa lamang meron ng sinasabi, meron ng gusto sabihin yung author, no? Na kahit na naging powerful si Jeroboam, no? Hindi bumagsak pa rin siya spiritually. Ganun na lang. Bumagsak pa rin siya spiritually. So Jeroboam's most influential and controversial decision involved religion. He feared that continued pilgrimages to Jerusalem, di ba, would eventually lead the people back to the Davidic monarchy. At bakit yon? Kasi ang temple ay nasa Jerusalem. No? So, because the temple was there, so magkakaroon ng means to politically communicate through religion, no? Through religion ang mga taga Jerusalem dito sa mga taga Israel, taga Northern Kingdom na pupunta sa Southern Kingdom. Instead of trusting God's promise to preserve His kingdom, he devised a political solution. At ganito ang ginawa ni Jeroboam. Jeroboam established two state-sponsored worship centers. One at Bethel in the south and another at Dan in the north. Yung Dan ay nasa border na siya ng yung outside from the Israelite kingdom. He placed golden calves at these sites and declared them to be Israel's gods. He also appointed priests who were not from the tribe of Levi and instituted a new religious festival in the 8th month, imitating the Feast of Tabernacle celebrated in Judah. So, yung paggawa ng golden calves, again, this is also not unique. Sa time ni Aaron, no? When si Moses went up sa Sinai, sa Mount Sinai, at hindi pa siya nakakabalik, nag-alala yung mga tao na baka hindi na babalik si Moses kasi namatay na siya. So, sa pinressure, no? Whatever you call it, ng mga Israelites, si Aaron na gumawa ng golden calf, no? Ito similarly, ganito rin ang ginawa ni Jeroboam. At tingnan niyo dito sa map na ito. This is a map from Bible map, ibiblemapscom, no? At yung lower portion in green ang Southern Kingdom sa pamamahala ni Rehoboam. The Northern Kingdom naman ay kay Jeroboam. At papansinin natin itong dalawang sites na ito na may bilog. Yung nasa baba po ang Bethel. At pag titignan niyo po yung mapa, kahit maliliit po yan, malapit na po yan sa Jerusalem. No? Within the borders of the Northern Kingdom. So, hindi na pupunta doon yung mga nasa south. Hindi na pupunta sa Jerusalem yung mga nasa south. Pupunta na lang sila sa Bethel. Ganoon din sa north. Kung napakalayo ng Bethel para sumamba ang mga nasa Northern Kingdom, no, pwede silang sumamba dito sa Dan. At nakita niyo po yung sinabi, nagtalaga ng sariling mga priests itong si Jeroboam na hindi from the tribe of Levi. No. So, kung hindi from the tribe of Levi, siguro panggagaya o sasabihin natin merong may similarities dun sa practices ng mga pare na sinasagawa sa ng mga Levitical priests dun sa Southern Kingdom. These actions fundamentally altered Israel's religious life. Although Jeroboam may have intended merely to provide alternative worship locations, the biblical writers viewed his reforms as a direct violation of God's covenant. At tama naman yun. No? Yung ginawa ang mga nasa Northern Kingdom dahil nga hari nila si Jeroboam, hindi naman nila nilabanan si Jeroboam. Siguro takot silang labanan kasi sino ba sila ito yung hari, di ba? Na pinili ng 10 tribes, di ba? Consequently, the phrase the sins of Jeroboam son of Nebat became a recurring condemnation of later kings of Israel. So, pag binabasa po natin ang first at saka second kings at paulit-ulit sinasabi yung the sins of Jeroboam son of Nebat, ang ibig sabihin po noon ay ang pagpapatuloy ng Northern Kingdom sa religious compromise, which is pagsamba sa mga Diyos-Diyosan na galing sa iba-ibang mga bansa. Now, let's talk about divine judgment. So, we talk about failures. So, God's judgment against Jeroboam came swiftly. In 1 Kings 13, a prophet from Judah, ito ay wala siyang pangalan, no? Confronted Jeroboam of the altar in Bethel. The prophet announced that the altar would one day be destroyed and that a future king named Josiah would desecrate it. Bagamat yung pangalan ni Josiah, hindi pa yun talaga binibigay, pero it was fulfilled sa time ni Josiah. When Jeroboam attempted to seize the prophet, no? Dahil nga nagsasabi ng mga bagay na tutol sa kanyang paghahari at saka sa kanyang religion, no? Yung kamay ni Jeroboam na ginagamit niya panturo ay na-paralyze. Marahil may pagkakawig ito doon sa stroke, no? Na-stroke, paralyzed. Although God later restored his son kasi nakiusap si Jeroboam doon sa sa propeta na ito. Pinagaling yung kanyang kamay pero hindi naman nagsisi si Jeroboam doon sa kanyang pagtatalaga ng mga altar, yung mga pananambahan na na sa mga Diyos-Diyosan. Dahil dito, the climax of God's judgment, when Jeroboam's son si Abijah became ill, Jeroboam sent his wife to disguise to consult the prophet Ahijah. Rather than offering comfort, Ahijah announced severe judgment because Jeroboam had led Israel into sin. His dynasty would be destroyed. So, imbis na hindi kagaya ng pamamahala ni David, may isang lasting dynasty, kay Jeroboam ay magiging short-lived. The prophecy was fulfilled. Si Abijah na anak ni yung tagapagmana, yung successor ni Jeroboam na namatay, no? Si Nadab yung sumunod ruled only 2 years tapos pinapatay din siya. May nagpapatay sa kanya. Unlike David, Jeroboam failed to establish a lasting royal house. So, ang mga lessons naman tututunan natin kay Rehoboam, no? Una, divine calling does not eliminate personal responsibility. Siguro yun yung it's possible, yung naging cause ng pride ni Jeroboam kasi meron siyang may spiritual backing siya, no? God chose Jeroboam and promised him success, yet he squandered the opportunity through disobedience. Number 2, fear often leads to compromise. Jeroboam's religious innovations were motivated by political insecurity rather than faith in God's promises. Third reason, leadership requires spiritual integrity. Jeroboam was a capable administrator and a nation builder, but his failure in worship and covenant faithfulness ultimately overshadowed these accomplishments. Fourth and fifth, religious practices must be evaluated according to God's revelation rather than politically convenience or popular opinion. At ano pa po? Jeroboam illustrates the tragic consequences of leading others into sin. So dahil sa ginawa ni Jeroboam na nagpatayo siya ng mga altar ng golden calf sa Bethel at saka sa Dan, no? Ang mga tao sa Northern Kingdom ay nahulog sa pagsamba rin sa Diyos-Diyosan. Now, Jeroboam began his career as a gifted leader chosen by God to govern 10 tribes, supported by prophetic endorsement and blessed with extraordinary opportunities. He possessed the potential to establish a dynasty comparable to David's. Yet his fear, self-reliance, and religious compromise led to his downfall. The biblical writers remember him not for his political achievements, but for introducing a pattern of idolatry that plagued the Northern Kingdom throughout its history. At dahil po dyan, nagsimula nahati ang kaharian at hindi na nakabalik ang, sabihin natin, ang 10 tribes sa kanilang loyalty sa Southern Kingdom. Okay?